First, I will start by boiling 4 medium to large potatoes. If I had to guess, this is about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of potatoes. Once the potatoes come to a boil, I am going to cover with the lid and allow them to continue boiling for about 20 to 30 minutes until fork tender. Yes, a fork, not a knife, a fork. If you use a knife, it'll easily go through the potato before a fork would, so you might end up with a hard, uncooked potato. So use a fork. So now I've just drained all the water and I'm going to mash it with the same fork while it's hot. If you wait till they cool off, it's a little bit harder to mash them. And we're not doing mashed potatoes, so I'm not going to be adding milk, cream, or butter. You just want a nice mashed dry potato. I'm also going to be adding a couple pinches of kosher salt. This is salt to taste, and if you do salt it, keep in mind that I'm using queso fresco, so if you follow the recipe, queso fresco also adds a salty bite to the potato pancake, so you don't want to oversalt. So here I've allowed my mashed potato to cool, and now I'm just going to introduce the rest of the ingredients. Here I have an egg. I will be using 3 large eggs. And I'm also going to be separating the yolk from the whites, and I will whip the whites until they have soft peaks or frothy. I'm also going to be using 2 to 3 tablespoons of onion, which is optional. You don't have to add the onion, but I like the flavor. I'm also going to be using a 1/3 cup of queso fresco. And I will also be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of granulated garlic powder. You don't have to do this, but I like the flavor that it gives a tortita. So now I'm going to start by combining all of my ingredients. But first, I'm going to show you how I separate the yolks from the egg whites. And I'm sure there's a better or safer way to do this, but I just crack the egg over the side of the small bowl, and I just allow the egg whites to pour out of the shell as I go back and forth with the egg yolk until they're separated. Okay, so I'm going to move the egg whites aside just for a second, and I'm going to add the ingredients. Now, as I started to mix all the ingredients, I realized I forgot the other 2 egg yolks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue mixing, and I've added the extra 2 egg yolks. So again, 3 egg yolks are in the potatoes with the rest of the ingredients at this point, and I'm just going to give them a good mix. Okay, so now that this is all mixed, I'm going to set this aside, and I'm just going to show you how I'm just going to beat the egg whites. So I'm just taking a whisk and I'm just going to beat them until they get nice and frothy, almost to soft peaks. I remember watching my grandmother do this, and she used a fork, so she really wouldn't bring them to soft peaks, but she got it really frothy. And then she'd fold in the egg whites, and her tortitas used to come out with a fluffier texture. So if you want to skip this step, that's fine. Just crack the eggs into the potato and mix away. But this is the way I saw my grandma do it, so I like to do it this way. Okay, so now I'm just going to pour in my egg whites and fold them into the potato mixture. And again, this is optional. You can just crack in the eggs to the potato and mix away, but this is the way I like to do it. Okay, so my potato mixture is all mixed and combined. Now I'm just going to hand form my potato tortitas. And if you find the potatoes sticking to your hands, just lightly oil them with cooking oil or whatever you have around you. And it should be easy to just shape them with your hand. And if you don't want to do it with your hand, spoon it in, but I like to shape them into little patties. So now that it's shaped, I'm going to place it into a preheated, greased or oiled skillet. And I did not measure how much oil I use, but it's not a lot. You're not deep frying these. You just want to make sure they get a nice golden brown, crispy exterior. And I also would like to add that I am cooking these on a medium heat. This is not a high heat. You want to make sure that your tortitas cook through because you have raw egg in them. So here I mashed it. You don't want to mash it, but what you do want to do is once you flip it over, you want to wait, let it cook for about 5 minutes or until you see a nice golden brown color on the bottom, and just touch the top of it and you'll feel the difference in the texture of the tortita, because when you start off it's mushy, but once the egg starts cooking throughout the tortita or the potato patty, you're going to feel it firm. So now that I'm flipping them all over, I'm using a spatula and just a random spoon that I found, but you can use 2 spatulas to flip them over because they are very delicate when you're first cooking them. Once you get, you know, a good crust on both sides, they become easier to flip, but in the beginning you want to use 2 utensils to flip them over easily, because if you just kind of chase it around in the pan, you might break the tortita. So this is after, I don't know, it took about 10 to 15 minutes for these to be done, and as you can see, the middle one still has a ways to go, but this is the color you're looking for. And again, you want to use your spatula and just kind of give it a press and you'll feel that they firm. See, all of these on the outer edge all have a very firm texture, and I can tell that the egg is completely cooked throughout because the texture has changed. There's no give to it like there was before when they were mushy. So once you feel that they have that firm texture to them and they have a nice golden brown crust, then you're ready to remove your tortitas from the pan. And I like to eat these hot and crispy. So right out of the pan, I like to plate them and just give it a try. And before I do that, I do want to show you, this is what I've been cooking them on. It's not really an exact temperature measure, but this is what I have my stove or knob set to as I cook these. It's not a high heat, it's just a gradual medium heat that I cook because you don't want to burn the outside before the inside cooks. So this is why it's important to cook these on a medium heat. I would also like to add, I'm going to go ahead and remove these from the skillet now that they're done, but this recipe makes about 10 tortitas. Here I have enough potato mixture to make about 2 more, and that would give me 10. So again, this is how I'm just hand forming my potato tortita and just placing it in the pan. I'm not even going to add extra oil. There's enough in here to cook the last 2. As always, the recipe will be located in the description box below. My tortitas are done, and here they are. They are beautifully golden browned, crispy exterior, delicate center, and they are oh so delicious. And this is my favorite way to eat them, with salsa on top. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching! guys, you can click on the video icons for more recipes, or you can click on my picture icon to subscribe. Thanks for watching!